please excuse the laundry basket. They're clean at least, so, you know, that's good. I wanted to get on here and make a video and see if I'm gonna post it or not. I always wonder if I'm gonna post these things. I have some light here. Let's see what it would look like without it. Oh no, I guess turn on. Okay. I recently at an Easter party with my family, we were talking about some things that were going on at my daughter's school. I'm not gonna say what school she goes to, but apparently there have been many mothers that have passed away recently. I think some of them have passed away due to illness, physical illness, and some of them have also passed away due to mental issues, anxiety, depression. And what I noticed my aunts and cousins kept talking about was, you know, she seemed so normal. She had all these friends. She had her kids at this Christian school, and she was a churchgoer, and everything just seemed so perfect. And I couldn't help but think that's probably why she never said anything, is because she was supposed to be perfect. I've dealt with anxiety. I deal with it on a daily basis. It's not as bad as it used to be, not nearly as bad. But about a year or two ago in the fall, it all came to a head to where it was just, I could feel it like coming. I could feel it growing, but I just kept waiting for it to go away. Feeling sad, feeling anxious, I just kept waiting for it to go away. And so I never really talked to anybody about it. I didn't, get a hold of my best friend to talk to her about it, because once again, I just kept waiting for it to go away. Because it's perfectly normal. It's perfectly normal to feel blue or down, not really wanting to go anywhere for a couple of days. That's perfectly normal. There's all kinds of things. Hormones, there's no telling what's going on. But if it lasts for quite a while, and I know I got to the point to where every night when I went to bed, that's where I felt the safest. And every morning when I woke up, I would lie there and just be like, oh, I just want to stay here. I don't want to get up, because I know I'm not going to be the woman that I think I should be today, or that people around me will want me to be. It's just safer for everybody if I stay here, because then I won't disappoint anybody. But I did get up, thankfully. But as time went on, it just got worse and worse, and I found myself in my room just hysterically crying. Like, literally, I could not stop crying. It was panic. I was afraid, because I literally could not stop crying. I didn't understand what was going on. I called my mother over, and my daughter was with me. She wasn't in the room with me when all this was happening, but I remember after I calmed myself down enough to be able to talk, I tried to convince her to go with her grandma for the night, just so Mama can get herself together. But my sweet girl, she didn't want to leave my side. And I remember wanting her to go, because I was like, she doesn't deserve this. She should not have to deal with a woman like me. I felt so bad for her, which made me feel guilty, which made me feel even more sad. So all these things just made it even worse. After that, I realized I really needed to talk to somebody. So I started to do that. I went to counseling, to a counselor at my church, which was great. I totally suggest people do that. There is absolutely nothing wrong with going to a counselor, with going to see a therapist. That is one of the best things you could do. The worst thing you can do is be quiet, hope it'll go away, and it won't. The brave thing is to step out and to say, please, somebody help me. So I went to her, and I started getting in the Word every day, trying to do devotions every day, because, Jesus Christ. I am a Christ follower, and hearing him, listening to worship music really did help to, bring me down, bring me not so anxious, not so sad, but it was still there. I was working out, trying to, because they say exercise is supposed to give you endorphins. I've yet to have that happen, so I think that's a bunch of nonsense, but I know it works on some people. But so I was doing all those things, and they just weren't working to the level that I needed for me to be able to live my life normally, to go back to what was normal for me. So I finally went to my doctor, and I just told her, I'm doing all these things. Like, that's what she wanted to know. Are you in a safe place? Do you trust people around you? Are you going to church? Are you going to a counselor? Are you exercising? Are you getting enough sleep? Asking all of the normal questions. And all those things were happening. I was getting all those things. So she suggested, let me put this phone on vibrate. She suggested that I get on a low dose antidepressant. And so I did that, and after 2 weeks, clear. Everything was so much better. Before I was on it, I knew nothing was wrong. Like, I knew I could go someplace and I would be safe. I knew that if I decided I didn't want to be somewhere, or I was uncomfortable or not feeling well, I am capable of leaving. I'm a grown woman. I can drive. I knew all those things, but I didn't believe them. It's like my mind would not allow me to believe the truth. And it wasn't until I had been on the medicine for a while that it just cleared up. Then I was like, well, of course I don't have to worry about this. Even if the anxiety would come for like a second, somebody would be like, hey, let's go do something. I'd be like, oh yeah. And I'm like, oh wait, that's fine. I can do that. If I don't want to be there, I'll just leave. But before, I could not believe it. So now it's summer, and back then it was fall. And so we kind of wonder if it was like that seasonal affective disorder, which they call SAD. So I'm weaning myself off of the medication right now. It's spring here, and I'm hoping to be off it completely, I don't know, in the next few weeks. And we'll just see how I feel. Hopefully it'll be great, and I won't have to worry about it throughout the whole summer. And hopefully when fall gets here, I'll still be good. And I'll just be living life like I usually do. A little bit of anxiety for me is normal, but I can, if I'm with my right frame of mind, I can tell myself, okay, yeah, that made me anxious for a second, but I know the truth of the situation, which is I'm fine. So that's where I am right now. But one of the reasons I wanted to make this little video was hearing about all of these mothers at the school, and that they're Christian women, that everyone was just so surprised. The thing is, we're Christian women. If we are truly Christian women who have a relationship with God, then we shouldn't be depressed. We shouldn't have these anxieties because we're not trusting enough. We don't have enough faith if this is happening to us. Taking medication is not trusting in God. It is not right. Have any of you ever heard those before? That she wasn't strong enough physically. She wasn't strong enough mentally. She wasn't strong enough spiritually. That's a lie. It is a lie. The longer that you stay silent, Satan loves that. Because he knows if he can get you alone and he keeps talking to you, talking to your life, talking to your head, and you never say anything, you are going to believe him hook, line, and sinker. Because you have no one else telling you the truth. So don't do that to yourself. Don't be the victim of anxiety. Don't be the victim of depression. True strength is asking for help. True strength is telling the people who you love around you, who you know love you. I'm struggling. I don't understand what's happening, but something is happening and I need help. I gotta decline this call. Okay, sorry. I know sometimes we don't want to tell our friends because one, we're just hoping it'll go away, and after a couple of days maybe it does. That'd be awesome. But if it doesn't, you need to tell your friends. And women out there who have good groups of friends, don't just assume everything's okay. When you talk to them, when you talk to your friends, don't just talk about, jobs and children and stuff like that. Really ask them, how are you doing? Not how are you doing throughout the day, how are you doing emotionally? Are you feeling any anxiety? Are you feeling depressed? Are you feeling overwhelmed? So many times we don't get into those deep conversations because one, we don't want to take the time. We're selfish with our time. There's all kinds of reasons why we probably don't do that. But if you are wondering if maybe one of your friends is feeling a little sad and you ask them that question, how are you doing emotionally? And she's just like, oh, I'm fine. Put yourself out there. Tell her what you're dealing with emotionally. Tell her if you're having any anxieties or if you're having any sadness or feeling frustrated with kids and feeling like you're not the world's best mom. Tell her that. Because if she sees that you're willing to be vulnerable with her, if she sees that you trust her enough with your fears and anxieties, then it's very likely that she will trust you with hers. So a lot of times you have to put yourself out there in order to help the people around you. Excuse me. I used to hate how emotional I can be. If I'm super sad, super happy, I'm crying. If I'm super mad, I'm crying. And I used to hate that. But now I embrace it. I embrace it as that is just a part of me that God has made. And throughout these years, I have found the fact that I am so willing to just bust out crying, that the people around me trust that I'm empathetic to them and that I'm not going to dismiss their feelings. So it's not a bad thing to be emotional and trust other people with your crap. We all have crap that we have to deal with. We all have past traumas that we haven't dealt with. We all have families and babies and husbands and mother-in-laws and all this craziness. We all have it, and we all have the right to ask for help when we're not doing great. So if you're a mom out there, if you're a woman out there, especially if you are a Christ-following woman and you feel that your anxiety and your depression somehow have made you not Christian enough, that you can't express that because people are going to think that maybe your walk with God isn't real, they don't give them that kind of power over you. Don't do it. Be good to yourself. Get help. Because we all get to, this is our only life here on earth. Try to make it good. It's a struggle. It is a struggle with me. But I want to be happy. Don't you want to be happy? So don't live a life in the dark. Ask for help. Trust the people around you. Trust in God. He loves you. He loves me. And He wants us all to be happy. So I love you all. Feel free to ask me any questions if you have any. And that's about it. Bye.